Well, there's growing pressure on the New South Wales government to address concerns about building standards after a third Sydney apartment block was evacuated due to water and fire safety defects. Joining us now is Stephen Goddard from the Owners Corporation Network of Australia. Good morning to you, Stephen. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. So, is this just an unfortunate coincidence, or does this point to a larger problem at play here?
One building's an accident, two's a coincidence, and three is systemic failure. The New South Wales government has at the moment got a portfolio of reforms up for discussion until 23 July. The urgency now is doing something. In that portfolio of reform, there is a proposal to effect registration of all of the building designers, and more importantly, the appointment of a building commissioner who will be responsible for regulation of the building industry. If we're going to make some sort of next first step, clearly the appointment of that commissioner as soon as possible has got to be on the Premier's hit list. It's not a New South Wales-centric problem. It's a problem that's occurring in all of our cities where we've had a building boom creating residential strata. We're in a serious situation where public confidence is being undermined by these events, not only confidence in the building industry, but strata living as a lifestyle of choice.
We've had, so this is the third apartment building that's had problems in the last few months. From what you're hearing, how many more could be out there?
No way of knowing. I thought Opal was a turning point and Mascot was the last straw. Now we find there are many more straws in the bucket. This is a problem that has been building over the last 20 years when private certification came onto the agenda and the building industry was deregulated. We ended up with an industry that was self-certifying without oversight. I have no doubt the building industry wants help in getting out of this mess, and it's up to our governments in all of our states and territories to start looking at how we can best protect consumers by ensuring that the Building Code of Australia is delivered. And the first step to do that in our situation in New South Wales is to appoint that building commissioner and start an oversight program, which I anticipate the other states will be looking at copying.
You have been quoted as in the papers this morning as saying that you believe that there should be an earthquake insurance in place. Can you explain those comments?
Yes, the proposed reforms are only going to be forward-looking. We have buildings out there that have been constructed over the last 20 years that have been suffering building defects. We need a safety net underneath the people who are now being evacuated. Imagine the shock of paying $800,000 for a one-bedroom apartment on an 80% lend from the bank and then discovering you're homeless. Can't live there, can't sell it, still paying the mortgage. Where do you live and what do you do? There is no insurance for those people. The case of Mascot and Zetland, they're on their own. The proposal that perhaps we can look at the Christchurch model where they were taking out insurance, owners corporations were paying a levy within their insurance premium to create a fund to put a safety net under people who become homeless.
Are developers at fault here?
Big question. Big question. We have had a building industry that has been living in a self-regulated model without any oversight. And the owners corporations that come into existence after the building is constructed are not in the sight of builders and developers. They build a building, dance down the yellow brick road after the plan is registered, and then leave it to the owners corporation to deal with the defects. We have had a progressive erosion of consumer protection in the building industry. The building insurance, home warranty insurance, has been reduced to buildings no higher than 3 floors. We now have statutory warranties that are reduced to 6 years. What we're hearing in the data right now in 2 of our 3 buildings is that it took 10 years for these defects to surface. You have more consumer protection right now buying a refrigerator than $1 million apartment.
Well, there you go. Excuse me, Stephen Goddard, thank you very much for your time this morning. Plenty more to come up on that story.